Welcome back, everyone. Intrusive people are everywhere, so it's important to know how to deal and work with them.
So creating a clear boundary is obviously a great place to start. So with us this morning, Mary Jo Claremont Hansen with Claremont Counseling Centers here with some advice.
Good morning.
Good morning, you guys.
Let's obviously start with what is intrusive? What does an intrusive person look like? Or
Good point, because sometimes we have milder words for it, but intrusive is someone who's doing something that feels unwelcome, uninvited, uncomfortable, and annoying. And so those feelings, when we experience someone, it's like that's happening. There's a gut reaction in there, but you're wondering what's going on here because nosy and pushy and meddlesome,
right.
But it's like no, there's intrusive, and that's something that's even a little bit stronger, and you get a reaction when you're working with or you experience somebody like that.
Really? So, like, would you give us an example and
Sure.
what we're going to feel?
Yeah, I had a colleague who I worked in a kind of a large system, and the question comes, how much are you making?
wow.
Look what happened. Look at your eyes and your mouth there, okay?
I was like, no.
And it's like, and I remember responding and saying, you know what? I don't share that information with anybody. I never have, and I'm not going to. That's uncomfortable to me. And the person said, instead of stopping, they said, well, other people have told me what they're making.
Oh.
Push, push, push. That's intrusive.
They don't know when to back off.
That's intrusive.
And sometimes when people ask you those intrusive questions, I'm sometimes caught so off guard that I answer, and then I'm like, why in the world did I answer? That is none of your business.
It is none of your business, and your brain tells you, but we are so North Dakota, Minnesota nice. We have been raised with manners. We are courteous, and it's just a natural response, conversation and dialogue. So when an intrusive person or an experience happens, it catches you off guard.
Right.
And then after the fact, you're upset with yourself for answering, but you did it anyway. Because that's almost a natural reaction to that.
But how can you prepare yourself for every single question that might come your way from an intrusive person?
I agree. And so part of it is I've just started to when I ask that question about how much you guys make and that feeling that you experience, to start to pay attention to that. Because it's really your body reacting to say, this is weird. You think it in your brain, you feel it in your body, but the courtesy part overrides and you think, well, I'm just gonna answer. No, you've rewarded them by answering the question they have just intrusively asked. Instead of just saying, I'm not okay with that.
So does that make them think it's okay then to ask other things later on?
Absolutely.
Oh, I got a reaction, I can ask again.
Very much so. And then, we all have a neighbor who, will ask a favor of us. And that's great, because you know what? That's what neighbors do. And then they ask again, and then they ask you to watch their kids for the third and fourth time, and the 1 hour turns into 4 and 6. And you can't believe they keep asking, but unfortunately, you keep saying yes, which then invites them. They're not obviously have very good social skills, or so that's what we call it. When in reality, they know you're going to give in because you have done it time and time again. So it's our responsibility, because intrusive people are the car salesman, it's the person on the phone. Every day of our lives, we're going to experience it. So it's up to us how we're going to respond.
Just stick up for ourselves.
Stick up for ourselves.
Don't be taken advantage of.
Yeah, and you know what? We like to avoid confrontation, and we don't want to offend, and we don't want to be to them how they're being to us. So it's like figuring out how to respond calmly, how to still stand your ground, and not give them what they're looking for. They're being nosy, meddlesome, and intrusive.
So why is it that so many people allow themselves to be doormats?
I think we have a belief system that does not, we somehow think that people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't behave that way to us. When in reality, if we really feel we're 50-50, that what is important for me in life is just as important to you, not more so, I don't need to be better, but it's 50-50, then when someone behaves in a way that feels inappropriate or unwelcome, we should be responding to that. Unfortunately, sometimes there's self-esteem problems. That there's like, well, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm overreacting. It's always doubt on ourselves instead of, I don't have to be right, but I have 50% here, and I deserve to be treated respectfully, and if that's uncomfortable to me, I don't have to answer. It's just the most, it's whether it's in the grocery store or and just think about every day, it's almost like you have to be a little bit on guard instead of thinking that people wouldn't do that. They do it all the time, And it's just really hard. Don't you find that? I mean,
Well, hold that thought. We'll be right back
Okay.
with much more. We'll answer that when we come back.